Joining us today is former Gamecock defensive lineman Jabari Ellis. Jabari, I feel like you and I haven't talked for almost a year. So first off, it's good to see you, man. How have you been?
It's good to see you as well, man. I've been good, and I gotta say, it's been a minute. It's been a minute since we talked, for sure.
But you've been busy. You've been staying busy, and we'll get to that because I'm sure a lot of Gamecock fans would love to hear how you've been. But the reason why we have you on today is because you have a great event. And I know you've always done this in the past. I mean, I think back to your Juneteenth event back in 2021 that I went to. You're always big with community. You continue to be big with community. And this weekend, you have a big one going on with the Holly Hill Youth Sports, if you want to kind of explain what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. So this Sunday, the executive director, Dr. Arthea Simmons, she reached out to me, and she was at the event back in Juneteenth as well. So she reached out to me, wanting to put something together, just more than a community day like I did before, or we did in the past. So now she got a spinoff with the mothers, because it's Mother's Day weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciation. It's a lot going on. But most of all, man, just to have the kids to get out there and experience that, this is something they're gonna remember for life. And I got some former teammates and current Gamecock teammates as well that said they all on board. So I'm just appreciative, man. I'm just glad that the kids gonna, have something to remember for life.
Well, you're doing two things that are amazing. Number one, the event this weekend, and number two, reminding people to make sure they get a Mother's Day card because you just reminded people that Mother's Day is coming up for some. But no, but all joking aside, Jabari, like I said, you've done events like this or just have continued to be part of the community. It might not even necessarily be your event that you're running. You've helped out other teammates, and you mentioned that there's going to be Gamecocks there. How special is that to you to be able to continue to make an impact in your community and knowing that not just current Gamecocks, but former Gamecocks want to be part of that as well?
Right, right. Well, I mean, everyone who kind of know me and I've encountered, they kind of know what's dearest to my heart, and it's more about it's more than just giving back. Just seeing the smiles on kids' faces, just to experience something they never experienced before, you know. So that's what kind of means a lot to me, to be honest.
So make sure I'm getting this all right here, but it's going to be going on at the Holly Hill Town Hall complex from 4 to 7 on Sunday. Has some flag football, some drills, some music, some food. I can tell you last time, I don't know who hooked me up. I think it was one of your family members. They gave
Yeah,
me a big old plate. That food was incredible. Food,
it's
football, registration. I mean, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be
yeah,
absolutely
right, right,
awesome.
right. And at the beginning, so the event Mother Appreciation, that starts at 3 o'clock and that ends about 6. And the football part just starts around 4 p.m. and that ends about 7. So it's going to be a lot going on that day. We got to spin off with the sheriff department as well.
Mm.
They're coming out there giving gifts to mothers and everything. So it's really going to be a huge deal. And just want everybody to come out and enjoy themselves. To be honest,
And it's free.
free. You can't beat that. It's free.
Can't beat free. So again, big event this Sunday. If you want to go out there, you want to just be able to just be around Jabari and just show support, head on over there if you have nothing going on this weekend. I'm sure he'd appreciate it as well as his former Gamecock teammates as well that will be out there. Talking football, though, you've been staying busy. You've been staying busy. You've been up north. And when I say up north, I'm not talking about my neck of the woods, Boston. You've been up north. You've been up in Canada playing
Right.
Canadian football. And just explain. You've been playing for the Montreal Alouettes for people that don't know that. Explain what this past season was like for you in your first professional season.
Oh man, I was telling someone today actually that asked me about my first year pro, and man, it was a roller coaster. I have to admit, it was a roller coaster. Signing with the Giants right after the draft, being up there for 4 months, 5 months, getting released preseason, and then heading over to Canada. And man, once I got to Canada, I never thought I'd ever visit Canada. To be honest, I didn't even have a passport. But it's crazy how it worked because the Giants got the passport for me. They got the passport for me, and it came in the mail 1 week before I made the decision to go to Canada. So I was just like, man, it must be meant to be. So I went out there, and it was a full circle moment, man, because just like I said, I never thought I'd be out there, but it's different. It's a different life over there for sure.
But what's that process like? Because obviously this past weekend, 5 Gamecocks drafted, your former teammates. The 4 were signed as undrafted free agents. I know you didn't have a chance to play with Nate Atkins, but my point being is, and I'm sure you still have that dream of playing in the NFL, you go from working out with an NFL team for a couple months, and then it's, the business side of it, but your dream of playing professional football, it doesn't end. You have that opportunity to play in the Canadian Football League. Just the a mental, I guess, roller coaster you must have been on during that process, and just how much you've learned just about yourself in the last year.
Right, right, right. Well, I like to say, man, now I'm stronger than ever, and I just want to keep on progressing as life go on. But going through it, man, it definitely was tough. It definitely was tough. But hindsight, making out that first year, now I feel like it ain't much that can get to me as far as on that football, the mental side of it. But just like I said, the first year, man, it was all over the place for sure. It was all over the place. But as an undrafted guy, someone told me, matter of fact, someone at the Giants told me, if you're drafted in the first through fourth round, it's almost like you got to prove you can't play. If
Mm-hmm.
you were fifth and on down, especially as an undrafted free agent, you got to prove you can play, and that makes a lot of sense, especially being an undrafted guy.
Mm-hmm.
Your opportunity is limited. So you may only touch the field a couple of times, but you got to make the most of each rep. And so especially for the undrafted guys, you just really got to hone in and make the most of your opportunity, because you never know. As an undrafted guy, you could be there that day and go
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow. Really, the nature of the business, to be honest.
And there's been some really talented players that have come out of the CFL that have had tremendous NFL careers. I mean, we can go down the list here talking about Doug Flutie, Warren. I mean, we could just keep going on and on and on. But the point being is, for you, outside of the obvious, which we kind of joked about before we hopped on here, I know it's much colder than it is down in Columbia, South Carolina. But what has just been some of the biggest differences for you as a player? I mean, I know from a down standpoint, there's one less down, but
Mhm.
is there much of a difference for you in terms of just learning the CFL game?
Yes, for sure. It's really like a whole new game, to be honest. Just
Really?
with the rules and everything, you're a yard off the ball, so that's big. The rules, the points, everything is different. I remember someone scored a touchdown, and I was like, "All right, well, we only need one more touchdown to tie it up." And they was like, "Nah, no, no, we don't. Nah, this ain't America." Like, the point system is different. Everything is different, but the beauty of it, it gives you a different perspective. So
Mhm.
as far as the D lineman backing up the yard off the ball, it can help your pass rush game. So whenever I get the opportunity to line up back on the ball to the line of scrimmage, I should say, it's different perspective and knowing the spacing it create, I should say.
What are you looking forward to the most now heading into your second season and getting acclimated to CFL football?
Well, it was my first season up there last year, but this is gonna be my first. I'm coming into my second year, but this is gonna be my first full season. So I
Mhm.
got there. It was 5 games left. It was like
Mm.
5 games left when I got to Montreal. So this is gonna be my first full season, and I'm just looking to take advantage of it. To be honest, I got a different perspective for sure. So I'm just looking to take advantage of it. I'm just grateful for the opportunity.
And I know you're up there for business. You're up there for football, but have you been able to, I don't know, become a fan of hockey or anything like that? I'm sure you're not a big hockey guy down in the South, but it's such a big thing up there.
Man, I have to be honest. New York introduced me to hockey, so
Mm.
I went to a Rangers game. Yeah, I went to a Rangers game, so that was my first introduction to hockey. So when I got to Canada, I was already a little familiar with it. And one day, just the city of Montreal, man, there's a lot of foot traffic going on, especially when the hockey game is going on. So I was walking to like from the grocery store, or something like that. Lost, lost country boy. I'm lost in the city, and I stumbled across the arena, the hockey arena, and there was just so many people out there, and they had the jerseys on. And I was like, I gotta walk in here. I have to walk in here, and man, that was an experience for sure.
And as we've talked about it, but before we hopped on, big shout out to our guy Jean-Marc Edmond, who coincidentally I met down in South Carolina at the Medal of Honor Bowl back in 2014. He's now part of the Montreal Alouettes. He was back then. He hopped around a little bit, but back with Montreal and you guys. So shout out to our guy Jean-Marc Edmond. I do want to ask you one more thing, though, before we log off. This past weekend, Zach Pickens gets drafted. And I know for you personally, I can see that big old smile on your face, having an opportunity to work with him, right? And that's not to take away from any of the other guys that got drafted this past weekend, but to see where he was when he first got there and to see him now get drafted by the Chicago Bears as someone that had a chance to work with them practically every single day in that defensive line room. How special is it? And how great can he be?
Right. Well, first of all, man, I'm proud of all the guys for sure. That's a huge accomplishment for sure. But Zach, man, I feel like a proud big brother. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like a proud big brother, man. I can remember it was Florida game towards it was the end of the game, and me and Zach we kind of zoned out, and it was just me and him, and he was telling me like, "I got you next year. Like I got you. I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I got you." So just to see everything coming to fruition, man, and him just accomplishing his dream and his goal, and especially for his family, because I know his family, man. I know they happy, and I know his mom and his brother, everybody. I'm just happy for all of them, and the sky's the limit with him. He definitely got the ability to take over a game, take over the possession, the sequence, whatever. Zach got it all, man. And I just read it. I'm excited to watch him, to be honest.
You mentioned the Florida game. How's little Chomp doing?
Oh yeah, he got a little brother now. Yeah, I got one. I call him Lord Argonaut from the Toronto Argonauts. Yeah,
Tell
so
people about that one.
so that one, man, it's a crazy story. So this is my first game playing up there, and it's in Toronto, which is a beautiful city too. So the first one I got, and it was playing Chad Kelly, former Clemson and Ole Miss quarterback.
I
So
covered him in Ole Miss. Yep, 2015 over there,
yeah,
Sugar
right.
Bowl year. Yep.
Yeah, see, so I was excited just off of that. I was still thinking about the old rivalry. So just off of that, man, I was excited. But my first play when I got in, which is the second series, I forced a fumble and I picked it up. And it was our ball and everything, but the referees they called it back. So I was mad. I was real mad. I was like, man, that's my one. And then the second, I ended up having the chance to get my hand on the ball the second time, and they called that one back as well. So everybody at that point on the sideline is mad, real mad, real mad. Like, man, they cheating us, they cheating us, they cheating you, they cheating us. So I was like, yo, don't trip. They come in threes. They come in threes. One more coming. And man, I remember going out there on that field, and this was the punt block special team. I didn't know it was going to be that play, to be honest. But, I'm trying to take advantage of every moment, so I'm going hard every play that I'm out there. And we was backed up in our end zone. Well, they was backed up in our end zone. And, man, I got through, and I was free. And I just reached up, and I blocked it. And I recovered in the end zone for a touchdown, game-winning touchdown as well. I was just like, thank you, God, because I knew that was you. Like, they come in threes. I just knew it was coming.
So are you bringing Beamer ball, Lembo ball up north? Is that what you're saying?
Hey, I'm telling you. Hey, I see Coach Limbo was just around the pro day time, so we had a long conversation about special teams. Yeah, right. Because I'm gonna tell this to every guy that got drafted, that just recently got drafted or signed or that's coming through the process. Special teams, that's the way for sure. Special teams.
Doesn't matter if it's NFL or CFL. Jabari
Yeah.
Ellis, always good to talk with you, buddy. And a reminder, head on over to Holly Hill Town Hall Complex this Sunday. The action will start at 3 o'clock. It will be a fun day. And again, it is all free. Jabari, always a pleasure, man. Glad you're doing well. If you need me to send up, I'm not using any of my sweatshirts and winter jackets. I'll be a little small, but anything we can do, I'll have Mama Yuva send it up to Canada for you if you need some.
Hey, much appreciated, man. I appreciate you as well.